Hey everybody, David the AI Guide here. So now we're going to go to the Applied Artificial Intelligence Conference. And for those of you who have followed me for a while, you know that I actually went to their conference in 2018 and heard the head of Facebook AI at that time say they were trying to get their AI to recognize pictures of cats and then I went back in 2019, only 1 year later, and their AI could already recognize a bunch of different stuff. And that's why I started the AI Guide in 2020, because I realized how much AI had changed in that 1 year and what was coming, which was an absolute tidal wave of global change. Now you're going to hear about that. So this is the Bootstrap Labs Applied AI Conference in 2023, and the first one since 2019. The name of the conference was AI Orchestration, meaning making AI work together in a really productive way. So Bootstrap Labs is a venture capital firm, and that's why they host this Applied AI conference. And they first talked about some of the companies that they've invested in over time. So their first investment was back in 2016, 7 years ago, and they invested in a company called DeepArt, which was AI-generated art. And we know that last year, 2022, DALL-E 2 came out and blew the socks off everyone. Also in 2016, they ran a project about could AI run a corporation, but it was just like a thought experiment. Then in 2017, they launched on a project about how to change the way humans interact with computers to eliminate all the typing and all that stuff. So they talked about the evolution of human-computer interaction and how in 1963, the first interaction, not typing, was invented, which was a sketch pad that you could sketch on a computer back in 1963. So that's really remarkable that they were able to pull that off 60 years ago. Then after that came the touchpad that's on laptops, and now voice recognition, voice interaction. So they said what they're really working on is humans plus AI, which is AI augmented human intelligence. That's what they're working towards. They talked about at their very first conference, which was the year before I went, this was 2017, a guy named Tom Campbell laid out a full roadmap to AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, at their conference. They said as a VC, the goal, it's like playing hockey. You have to follow the puck and see where development is moving and what's hot, and that's where you go as a venture capitalist. Now what is being worked on, they said, is having multiple specialized AIs in a single company to help run that company, different parts of that company. And they talked about a company called Prion. So they're investing in right now scaling technologies, sales automation, customer service automation. Those are their big areas they're focusing on right this minute. And then they asked the question, are we past the hype yet? So ChatGPT use is falling off quite a bit. They said the remarkable thing is that the whole base of AI technology was really built in only 5 to 7 years, the technology that exists now. My viewers know that. Advent of the first really good neural net that was developed and refined between 2012 and 2015. They said that the neural net and deep learning is basically software 2.0, or the next evolution of computer software. They said by 2030, the market capitalization of AI companies will be $87 trillion. They said what you're seeing now is literally the fabric of human society is being re-architected in real time right now. That is a stunning statement, because historically society has evolved over hundreds or thousands of years, and it's being re-architected in real time right now. They said each wave of technology builds upon the prior waves and that AI is the sixth wave. And they said to give you an idea of what is happening, in 2015, to train ChatGPT cost $6 billion, or a model like ChatGPT, $6 billion in 2015, 8 years ago. Now that $6 billion is down to $1 million to train a foundation model. By 2030, it will be only $500 to train a foundation model. Stunning, from $6 billion to $500. Then they made an analogy of the human brain to compare it to AI. The human brain has 240 trillion synapses. I had never heard that number before. So to make a human equivalent brain would cost roughly $6 billion today. By 2030, that will only cost $333,000 to make a human brain equivalent, $333,000. And then by 2040, only $33,000. That tells you exactly what's about to happen. They also mentioned, which I didn't know, I don't know if this is out in the public or not, but Tesla is building the biggest supercomputer in the world that will come online in 2024. They said the race to AGI is on, and they said that begs the question, what will all this computer power bring? Well, computers learn much faster than humans. So I was thinking just before recording this today that it's stunning how long it takes to raise a human. I mean, you know, people have a baby and it takes 22 years to raise a kid to be a college graduate, or 18 years from high school if a kid doesn't go to college and starts working. Computers are infinitely faster. They said once an AI passes human intelligence in one area, it will spread like wildfire to all areas. And then they talked about how our interfacing with computers is going to completely change. This was picking up on the topic from a few minutes ago, but right now with ChatGPT, you write a prompt. That will be gone soon, they said. It's all going to be verbal. They said already AI has reduced the time that it takes to build a program by 55%. By 2030, there will be a 10-fold increase in the speed of coding from today, 2023. 10 times as fast. They said English is now the fastest programming language in the world, courtesy of ChatGPT. Right now, AI programming takes experts, but in the near future, regular Joes like you and me will be able to program AIs. The next phase of AI is LLM to LMM. So LLM, as you know, is large language model. LMM is large multimodal. So LLM is text only. LMM is text, pictures, speaking, scans, any kind of data. They said what this means is that you will be able to take a web application from a whiteboard to a finished app in minutes, coming soon. You input an image of what you want to see, and a finished application comes out. Transformer agents are a 300x improvement over the previous generation of models, and I mentioned that on one of the TED videos. So what they said this means in the real world is they've embedded Adobe into AI. My daughter was actually explaining this to me because she's in art school and they use Adobe all the time, and she said it super has sped things up. It's reduced basically what used to take 5 hours down to minutes. So how will this kind of technology impact the real world? One of the ways they're going to use it and are using it now is to manage wildfires and reforestation, which they said will be a total game changer. They also said, which was said at TED, we're entering the era of AI autonomous agents. We're in the early days to get to Jarvis. LLMs are a single player type model, but they will become multiplayer. In other words, people will collaborate using one of these models to create something completely new. They said, to put it in terms we can all understand, data is the new oil and AI is the new oil refinery. And because of the massive change that's coming to the world courtesy of AI, regulation and safety are not optional. Transparency is critical. So then they talked about what kind of requirements do we need for enterprise AI, which means an AI that can manage an entire corporation. Accuracy, or a disclaimer saying this may be wrong. Transparency in how it works. Trust, that you can trust the system to give you the right answer. Governance, meaning tech teams morph from being programmers to basically overseeing these things. And privacy. So they said right now AI development is about ROI, return on investment, but it shouldn't all be about profit. It should also be about efficiency and lowering cost. And they said one of the things that's very common is that disruptors start before the hype. So ChatGPT was first shown to other people a few years ago, and then it came out two and a half years later to the public. So it was already a disruptor way before the public is aware of it. This is why I've been hammering home the main point from TED AI, and this AGI will be here in 2 to 5 years. Get ready. This will change everything in the world, AGI. So then they had a panel, and it had 3 people on the panel plus the moderator. There was a guy named Craig who is invested in 6 unicorns, meaning billion-dollar valuation companies already. A woman named Ying and another guy named Eli. So Craig said they are redefining AI right now using multimodal reinforcement learning. This is starting and will impact defense, linguistics, logistics, and manufacturing. And then the woman Ying said, the woman Ying has a newsletter called the Big Why newsletter. You can check it out. Just Google it. She said we need AI monitoring platforms to watch what they're doing. And then the guy Eli is at a company called Credo AI, which is an enterprise system, meaning huge corporate system for AI governance. So basically watching over the AI and making sure that it's not hallucinating or making stuff up and all that. So they talked about how Meta was an early AI called an engagement AI, but that AI amplified hate. The reason why is because that AI did not understand context for humans. And then they said traditional machine learning is a silo thing. It's a single model for a single purpose, like reading x-rays. So they said, what does this orchestration concept mean that this conference is about? Well, it's having multiple very specialized AIs in a big company and linking them all together to create an enterprise system. So then they talked about where we are today. So Craig says most of the models released so far haven't really worked super well because they lacked context. Ying said that AI systems were also applied to things that really didn't need an AI. So you got bad results because it didn't need AI to begin with. And then the guy Eli said fitting an AI to a particular purpose is still really hard to do. And then they compared enterprise systems, company systems versus consumer. So they said with consumers, you need to be very, very explicit about what the consumer really does with the system for it to work. Whereas enterprise, you don't need that, but you need a feedback system to tell you what's working and what isn't. The reason why is because in an enterprise, when people at work are using a computer system like the Microsoft Office suite, you assume it works and that it gives you the right answers. Because in a huge company, they said you cannot take everything with a grain of salt. So you can't use systems where you doubt the outcome of it. So they said in companies, there are more specific security and privacy requirements than there are in consumer systems because, you got so many people's data you're dealing with. And they said that these enterprise systems really still need a lot of work with regard to AI. They said the key with enterprise systems for now is to keep humans in the loop, and their role is to correct the mistakes that the AI makes. So the humans are basically apprenticing the AI and teaching it what the correct responses are. However, one day the AIs will evolve where they don't need that kind of monitoring and correction. The panel also said the focus needs to be to use AI as a productivity tool, not a replacement for workers. They said everyone is going to have their own AI digital healthcare trend where privacy was going to be really important, but it'll have every single fact about you that could relate to your health. They said it's very, very difficult for privacy and trust to work properly right now because the pace of AI innovation is moving so fast right now. That's exponential. They said the best privacy you could have is to have your own customized LLM for your company or for you personally that no one else could get access to. You hold the LLM. And they said with regard to data, particularly for corporate systems, they need to find a way to get clean data so they're not stealing people's copyrighted material and stuff like that. Now here we go. The wrap-up was, what did each of them expect to happen in the next 2 years? Get ready. Craig, the 6 unicorn guy, each of us will have our own personal AI assistant within 2 years, like a real assistant. Ying said what's going to happen is autonomous AI agents working together to automate workflows. CTO, the Chief Technology Officer, will run and control the process of the system, and the AI will structure its own data. This is within 2 years. And then Eli said within a couple of years, they'll have really sophisticated AI governance systems to watch over AIs in companies to make sure they're doing the right thing. So that's it. That was the Applied AI conference. We are almost to 1,000, literally few subscribers. Please subscribe, like, share these videos. We're hitting the benchmark for subscribers for full monetization. Next up is watch time. We're part of the way there. We got to finish that out. Please watch these full videos. These videos, there's something all the way through that's mind-blowing, so you really should watch the whole thing. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.